I won't deceive you because it will be a little bit colorful. So the name of the activity is Eco-Integrated Green Walls for Indoor Gardening and Commercial Buildings. People that lead this activity are from Agriculture Canada, University of Laval, and we have some private industries. From Agriculture Canada, well, you've got Martine Doré that should have been here also today, and myself, and from Laval University, Steve Pepin and Blanche Dansereau. The industries that are participating in this activity are Tourbière Berger, Serre Frank Zeromsky, and LED Innovation. Okay, next slide. The main activity objective of this activity is the following. The goal is to identify new ornamental products via the development of a low-maintenance indoor eco-integrated green wall for homes, residential, and public buildings that will at the same time fulfill a customer-driven market for products that improve air quality that have beneficial acoustic and amenity effects, as well as offering a year-round in-house gardening. Okay, next one. Here I have listed the specific objectives that we will pursuing for the next years until the end of this project. The first two are for this year. The next one is for year 2, and the last two are for year 3. If we can go faster through these objectives, we'll be, how can I say, very happy and very efficient. So let's begin. The first objective is to compare the performance of different low-cost and flexible wall modules adapted to seasonal events available for building areas and consumer preference for ornamental, edible ornamental, medicinal, aromatic herbs, leafy and mini vegetables. The second one is to determine sustainable wall components, that is growing media and fertilizers to be used in those wall components. The third one is to determine the effectiveness of natural suppressive agents such as biofertilizers and silicone. The fourth one is to determine a sustainable water and nutrient management plan. And the last one is to determine an efficient LED lighting use. We have to figure out how to, because since those green walls will be installed mainly inside, some structures like maybe a kitchen, away from some windows, maybe light will be deficient. So consumers have to be accompanied in their choice of walls, and at the same time the need of having supplementary lighting. There are two sites for this activity. One is situated at Laval University, and the other one is at Agassiz. I will be explaining you the first one. So we will be having a completely randomized experimental design, which will be consisting of 4 repetitions, three types of wall modules, 3 types of substrates, and 2 fertilization regimes, that is conventional or organic. We will be using a plant arrangement on those walls made up of 34% herbs, 33% of edible flowers, and 32% of mini vegetables. Next slide. We have selected, I am not sure if people have been going, how can I say, in trade brochures or things like this to see what modules, green wall modules are, but there's as many module types as there are consumers' preference. So we were able to choose 3 of them. Florafelt, which is made in Montreal, which is by Plantera. There is Modulo Green, which is distributed by Nature, but originally it's from France. There is Flowal, which is made by Waterlets and is French. Under observation, we will also have Grovert, a Berger Choir Slab, which is under development, and another choir slab, which is sold by Plantasys and is made by iArt. Next slide. Florafelt resemble these. They are recycled. They're made. The fibers are made by recycled plastic bottles. Each plant has an individual felt wrapper. The unit has a strong backing. It's made out of sturdy plastic sheeting extruded from polyethylene. This unit is irrigated from top to bottom. The moisture is taken up by the felt material and driven down by the moisture or needs of the plant. This green wall is quite arid. It can, how can I say, air will go through the side pockets and will dry up the plants and give them supposedly a nice way of growing. Next one. Next slide. Okay. Modulo green is more sturdy. It's made up of 100% recyclable ABS plastic. It's stackable. It has partitioned planting cells. That means on this unit you will have 16 plants or 16 area to plant. It's waterproof as compared to the flower felt before, which is not waterproof. It will drain from all sides. It also has a water distribution from top to bottom. The bottom can be drained, and we can also install some kind of a container to recycle the drainage. It's a cradle-to-cradle certification, so that means it's 100%, 100%, not exactly, but it has a silver medal for that European certification concerning ecology and things like this. Next one. Flow wall. Flow wall is more like a picture frame, missing its frame. It's a self-contained unit. It has the inside of those two layers of plastic has a felt material, which is connected by some small wicks that will be introduced inside all those little containers. It's a rectangular support, and irrigation again is from top to bottom, except that it has a zigzag going from top to bottom. It goes from one tier to the second and to the third, and there's an overflow at the bottom of the shelf. The three growing media are from Berger. The composition is the following. It's a BM4 NF wood. It's got 87.5 coarse peat composition plus 12.5 NF wood. You have the BM8, which has again coarse peat, but with an addition of perlite and vermiculite and compost. There's a third growing media, and it's a test product. It's made up of 65% peat, 20% coir, and 15% of wood fiber. To these growing media, for all the three of them, there's a slow release fertilizer of 180 days, 18.6 NPK composition NPK of 18.68, and is added actino iron, which is a combination of Streptomyces luticus, to simplify, in order to give the growth, plant growth, a good production cycle. Next one. Since we're not going to grow those plants on tables, we had to find a way of hanging up those walls. So we are using some strong steel construction fences, and that you see on the picture on the right. The fertilization treatments, like I said before, will be conventional fertilization and organic. On the left, you see Grovert. It's another unit that will be under observation. Next one. The Agassiz site, where Martin will be doing some observation and data collection. The experimental design will also be a completely randomized design. It also has 4 reps. This time you have 3 wall modules with 3 plant arrangements and 2 fertilization for a total of 72 experimental units. The selected modules this time will be grow tiles. The grow tiles are coir, and you can either have 2-inch holes or 4-inch holes. And the last one is a berger coir test slab that I will show you in the next slide. So this one is grow tiles. As you can see, the holes, there's a protective top layer. There's a growing media that is supposed to be stabilized. There's also a structure that goes around those modules so they can be hanged also. Right now, you don't see it. It's made up of 100% recycled materials. It's got a layered construction. And this time also, it's got a top irrigation with a bottom collector. Next slide. Here we have an example of the test lab that Berger will be developing. It's compressed coir fibers. It can expand upon irrigation. These should be comparable or much better than the 2 others that I showed before. Next slide. Again, 2 fertilization treatments are either conventional or organic. The 3 plant arrangements are different by their percentage according to the ones that you have on this one. Next slide. Measured parameters for both trials will be the following. We will be looking at substrate moisture distribution throughout the slabs and the cells, EC and nutrient content of the nutrient solution, that is the overflow. Environmental growing conditions will also be monitored, PPFD, VPD, CO2, day and night, and mean temperatures. Weekly plant growth parameters will also be made through SPAD, PEA, and percentage of biomass covering the slab area. It has to be noted that green walls are most pleasing when they are completely covered. Plant regrowth after cutting, that is for herbs and eatable plants, will also be measured. Plant biomass at the end of the experiment, as well as plant quality regarding color, appearance, flowering, and maybe insect problems and all of the bad things that can happen to a plant when it's all mixed up with a lot of other plants. So next slide. So either they will be grown from seedling or plugs, and they will be transplanted in the 3 different growing media or in the green eco walls, depending on what type they are. And they will be submitted to 2 different fertilization management. Plants will be cultivated horizontally before they can be incorporated inside the green walls until they reach a commercial selling development stage under HPS lamps. Under a 16-hour photo period, 100 micromole meter squared. Growth and quality parameters, as described previously, will be daily and weekly monitored. Modules will then be placed vertically, and growth and quality parameters, as described previously, will be monitored during 3 months under limited PPFD. Next slide. I'm sorry, I just saw that I hadn't forgotten to translate the names of the plants that are on this table. I'm sure that some of them you will be able to recognize. So we have a great variety of different herbs and vegetables, as well as flowers. Next slide. Deliverables. for April 1st to March 31st, 2016. According to the activity, we were to deliver the following items: identification of appropriate modules and plant species for the trials at Laval University and commercial greenhouses, purchase material supply and equipment, as well as LED lamps. In the commercial setup, compare the potential productivity of selected modules from seed or cuttings to mature plants. Compare agronomic performance of those walls that have different substrates and offer different aesthetic design with or without LED, and hire a research professional or recruit a research professional to work on the project. Next slide. Whatever happened for those deliverables is the following. There's a timetable drawback. Budgets were released only in mid-October. Therefore, material delivery status had been changed from the time we had first inquired as compared to the first time we did. The timing, especially the season, suppliers were not how can I say, had not thought that probably someone would buy 24 of those units at a shot. So we had time lapse there. And the recruiting process for the research professional will have to be reviewed by reopening the agreement after March 31st, 2016. There still has to be some things that have to be cleared up. Next slide. Further this year, still, can I say, right now the construction of the walls are on their way. Plants have arrived. Irrigation requirements are under scrutiny, but we still need to put the instruments to calibrate all those parameters that we're measuring. So tensiometers and LED lamps will have to be installed. So for now, with all the work that has to be condensed into this season, this will be, I'm sure that we will be able to transfer some kind of information, data, and research results, most probably by the beginning of next year's, most probably around May or June. I think that was the last slide. Exactly. I'm open up for questions if you have some.
Okay, thanks very much. That's.
It was a quick and short.
Yeah, I mean, did you get a 10-year grant when everybody else only got a 3-year grant?
Well, that's what I was telling Martine at one point or another, that we probably had a lot of work to do, and especially with the short timetable that she was giving us here at Laval University. Yeah. Since budgets had not landed until mid-October, it was a little bit hard. I can tell you that, but I am very confident that we're on our way right now, and things are looking good.
Are you familiar with a company called Nedlaw Breathing Walls?
Nedlaw? No, I haven't heard about them.
Are you familiar with any of the publications that have come out of the University of Guelph in my group over the last, I don't know, 20 years?
I think I will have to take a good look at your publications then.
Yeah, when I look at your first list of objectives,
yeah.
You know, is regarding quite a number of different areas. I can't remember them all right now, but especially nutrition and plant types and things like that.
Yeah.
We did an awful lot of that.
Okay.
On what we're calling a biofilter, a biological filter. So.
Okay.
The objectives in our green walls were always to mitigate air quality, to treat indoor air quality. So there's a negative pressure plenum behind the green wall, and air from the building was sort of sucked through the wall.
Okay, yep.
But you should definitely, Al Darlington is the the head of that program. He was my postdoc and grad student.
Okay.
And he formed Nedlaw Living Walls, or at least originally it was a different company, but it ended up being Nedlaw Living Walls. And they have been commercializing green walls for the last at least a decade or more.
Okay, I agree with you, and I think the technology is more for commercial or big buildings.
Yeah, the breathing wall technology.
And things like this, except that this one here, this project, maybe I wasn't clear enough because I've been trying to get it's decoration.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but nevertheless,
participant has left the conference.
A lot of the technical objectives are identical.
Yep.
You have to deal with the same issues of fertilization.
Oh yeah, sure.
Recycling water. LED lighting is a new thing, and we're working on that as well with
Okay.
So there's quite a bit of work that's been done, and you can learn a lot from the commercial sector actually, without going even into the scientific literature.
Exactly.
So there's and there's a company we work with now called Intravision, which is doing the LED lighting for a Nedlaw project at Drexel University, and
Okay.
I think that'll be the first deployment of a significant, I think it's about a 3 or 4 story high breathing wall with LED lighting, and it's about to be done. And there's a Toronto architect, Diamond and Schmidt, who are involved. So there's a lot to learn just by investigating some commercial connections that we can put you onto.
Good. I appreciate it.
So anybody have any questions? This is an enormously ambitious, in my view, project, unless there's some focus on some of the specific elements, because there's no way in hell that you can do all of that in the 2 years remaining.
It's I'm aware of that. I'm aware of that. I'd like at one point or another that the substrates, at one point or another, probably eliminate and go for the best substrates we will have. So we'll be dealing only on one substrate and maybe one module, one type of module. I like the Coir slab because our industry partner is working on that.
Right.
So we'll try to get him on to get something going for him, and it's more like not the public building, but more the common just consumer that wants to have beside the stove or beside the barbecue somewhere, it's herbs, aromatic herbs that can put in the in the kitchen or something like this. So the big designs are a little bit more public. I know that.
Yeah, they've investigated. Nedlaw has investigated domestic applications, much smaller scale, but their objective is biological filtration of the air, not growing food, and be a little careful of mixing vegetative production requirements with flowering and fruiting plants, because they all have different energy and nutrition requirements. Anyway, you'll figure all that.
I know that.
Yeah, you'll stumble over all that stuff, but you don't have a whole lot of time, so I would strongly advise some focus if that's our
Okay.
this year. Does anybody else have any questions at this point? Well, you're equally let off early there.
Yes.
So with that, I think we're done. I'm going to ask. By the way, for all of you who are remaining, thanks for participating. It's been an interesting and enlightening afternoon for sure, for those of us who have stuck with it from the beginning. So especially the advisory committee, we've got an earful, and I'm pleased to see the pace, despite the late start, which, was obviously inconvenient for almost everyone. But despite the late start, everyone seems to have got off in a big charge and is making remarkable progress under the circumstances. So from my perspective, the program seems to be functioning quite well, and if that's a box that needs to be taken, a reporting protocol with Ag Canada, then clearly it's done. So with that, I'll kiss everybody goodbye.
Thank you.